Welcome to Avatar. We begin. We're all different. If you're not satisfied with the results you see, change yourself. 95% of people are reacting. It's your choice whether to follow suit. Success is knowing where you are. These are the answers in the mind. Knowing where you're going, as well as moving in the direction you want to be. Any thought in your mind can turn into a physical replica. So that means that a winning attitude or mentality is vital. There's good in everything. Mastering of your own subconscious thoughts. That is exhibiting true control. Having a poor self-image counters these efforts. That is why reconstruction is required. This is by reprogramming yourself into believing that you can do anything. See yourself as you wish to be and write it out and read it. Thoughts control feelings. Feelings control actions. We can choose to control thoughts. Choose what to become emotionally involved with. I repeat, choose what to become emotionally involved with. If you're not keen, reject it. True mastery is loving oneself unconditionally. This audiobook serves as an inside scoop of my journey towards finding balance and true happiness in my life and my art. It is comical how over the years deeply religious folk have been giving dream chasers so much slack. However, don't believe in their religious idols enough to chase their own dreams. Lucky for me that I had never been one to follow, and I wasn't about to start now either. Avatar. The book was written concurrently with the writing of my first album by the same title, based on and inspired by the Nickelodeon show, Avatar, The Last Airbender. Chapter 1, Fugazi. Time is the most valuable asset, yet people operate as if it is money. Material success is an illusion. Wisdom is true success. My route to true happiness began with having zero expectations of others. Fugazi pertains to a slang synonym to the word fake. This title of the album intro was based on a reflection of my past, which inspired me to shrug all the fake energies around me. This objective eventually led me to developing the skills of having zero fear and showing no emotion at all. The world is a mirror. Judge what you see and don't let them judge you, says Lil Wayne. The stomach is the source of energy in the body. Yin and Yang are two opposing chi energies in the body. Thus, in order to embrace having no emotion, one has to be living in the Tao, namely in harmony with nature, according to Uncle Iroh in the series Avatar. This intro to the album captures the emotion of me letting go, as I choose to rather go with the flow of the universe. The root chakra involves overcoming physical temptations. The state of my energy became priority as I began to become even more confident in maintaining my spiritual stability and safety. Relaxing my perfectionist tendencies and only focusing my energy on growth, therefore helping me master when to push and when to pull. This ends chapter 1. Chapter 2. This Side. Embracing the Unknown. Night is used as a metaphor for the unknown in the album, showing no fear even when faced with uncertainty. A childhood fear I managed to overcome with the help of load shedding, accompanied with mantras and meditation. I began to embrace the uncertainty of load shedding and rather saw it as an opportunity to remain still and pay attention to my surroundings. I returned home for holiday and found that the light in my room had stopped working. I was, however, unbothered, as practice had paid off. The world is a mirror. I began to judge what I was seeing. Imagination has always been one of my greatest tools, but for the longest, it had been one of my greatest hindrances. This is until I learned how to utilize it as a tool for innovation. Embracing the unknown enabled me to embrace the idea that my potential is beyond my wildest expectations. ZV. This side we conquer all fears. Embracing getting out of my comfort zone. Don't follow, be a student. Working on health. Focusing less on the external environment. Becoming a good reader and listener. This side, we innovate new unknowns. There ends Chapter 2. Chapter 3. Avatar. Finding balance. What is meant for you is already yours. What we think, we become. One who doesn't give up is unstoppable. Fixing one's thinking enables problems to fix themselves. Worry is a waste of valuable time. I repeat, worry is a waste of valuable time. Respect and embrace privacy. Words cast spells. Think before you speak. Don't speak when you're angry. Don't make promises when you're happy. Don't make decisions when you're sad. The mind is a great slave, but a terrible master. Rule the mind, or it will rule you. A encompasses the elements of freedom, emphasis on intuition and imagination. A true artist possesses the ability of giving people access to something they didn't know they were missing. This is only possible when accompanied with innovative technique. These are qualities displayed by Aang in the Nickelodeon show. It is the tendency of most to only embrace their limitless potential only when faced with life or death circumstances. Similar to Aang in the Nickelodeon show, when his life is threatened, provoking such avatar state. However, to master the art of being able to effortlessly go in and out of such flow states is where true innovation lies, finding true balance. Such power can only be harnessed by an individual who is at 100% peace with themselves. Leave the past in the past and move forward. Fall forward. One who is unable to let go of all their attachments will find difficulty finding true balance. This is a similar difficulty faced by Aang on his journey of mastering the avatar state. There ends Chapter 3. Chapter 4. Rex Duplex. The goal is to make money work for you instead of working for money. Thus the term Rex Duplex pertains to avoiding the popularized tendency of splurging money, rather being disciplined enough to allow your finances to multiply. This is a mentality I struggled developing until I learned how to deviate from the crowd whenever the opportunity was presented to me. This helped me establish moral autonomy, taking pride in pursuing my own self-interest rather than those of others. Many fail to catch this wave and remain stuck in the mentality of a student, hence why most would rather be part of a movement rather than create their own. We make our own lives. Do you and don't force anything. For many, it is almost impossible to abandon the media and politics. For an innovator, this is however the norm. In theory, it sounds simple, but I had to get out of most of my comfort zones in order to welcome such mentalities. I understood that in order to elevate my mind, I had to stop prioritizing safety. All forms of safety, especially spiritual. This intensified my drive, not to prove anything to the world as most would suspect, but to prove the universe right. Embracing a mentality that is borderless is the emotion captured by the track in the album. Letting go of the limiting idea that I ought to be understood. Great minds think alike. However, an innovative mind is unmatched, unruly, a free soul, bouncing from one idea to the next at rapid pace. What modern society would label as crazy due to their limited understanding. Most choose to fit in as it is easier to do than carving your own lane. Make racks, do plex. Success leaves clues. Here ends chapter 4. Chapter 5. Mic check. Restart and reset as many times as you need to. Perfection is an illusion. Don't get lost in the sauce. Trying brings forth the risk of failure. Not trying ensures it. Yet people fear starting due to the risk of failure. On my journey of constantly attempting to break mental, physical, and spiritual barriers, I never neglect taking breaks or celebrating my achievements. I make it a point also to never dwell over wins or losses after. Criticism and praise carry the same weight. No weight, only lessons. The track is a reminder that there is no perfect way of doing anything. It rather focuses on the job being done regardless of the external environment, which is uncontrollable. The internal drive is unaffected. Focusing on what one can control and letting the rest flow. It is important to check oneself when distracted and focus attention back on growth. Mic check. Stop being a good worker and become a good reader, listener, and observer. 2 types of sight. One is with the eyes, sight, where you see things. The other is with the mind, insight, where you see ideas. Wherever you are, be there 100%. Here ends chapter 5. Chapter 6. Azula. Hustler's mentality. Regardless of where you begin, it is your duty to push the boundaries to the furthest extent possible. The title is a play on the slang term Azula, pertaining to the act of hustling. It was, however, initially inspired by the Nickelodeon show character by the same name. It is rare for an individual to embrace a disadvantaged position and use it not only to thrive, but also to bend others at their will, qualities exhibited by the character when all attention is placed on how the character taught herself to thrive against all odds. Importantly, one ought to dismiss her manipulation techniques, which eventually led to her psychological breakdown. I related to the character's hustle, as most people would have been comfortable in her position, but she never exhibited any signs of complacency, which is commendable. A mindset I've always been infatuated with. Other examples such as Cristiano Ronaldo and Lil Wayne, to name two of very few individuals who refuse complacency. Unlike most individuals, people who embrace such a mindset have a deep appreciation of how valuable of an asset time is. From the outside, it may look like individuals who are workaholics and perfectionists. However, it is so much more. If words could explain it, I'll try to. Hustler's mentality. Azula always portrayed a disciplined stature in most of the show. This is a stance I've come to embrace and incorporate with the aim to blend it with time management. An example of the benefits of this combination is Azula's mastery of lightning bending in the short space of time. Repetition is the mother of skill. Here ends chapter 6. Chapter 7. Omer, celebrating flexibility. This next chapter is inspired by Bruce Lee's famous words, "Be like water, be shapeless, be formless." Famous words that inspire the mentality of flexibility. Similarly, the track is inspired by the Water Tribe in the Nickelodeon show. Their teachings showcased in the show only further emphasized Bruce Lee's philosophy. As I embraced this mentality more, I developed the skill of being able to go with the flow of the universe, rather than fight it, dwelling less on words and writing, and rather focusing more on how I feel, as well as the vibes around me. This helped me place even more trust in my gut, rather than the opinions of others. One can see glimpses of such mentality embraced by Aang in Avatar, as he is taught water-bending techniques. This provided me with many lessons on how to control my energy, as well as those around me, helping me focus more on self, rather than being moved by external energies, helping me to embrace meditation and its unlimited benefits. I was able to move from a mindset of dependency to independence, enabling my daily metamorphosis to almost be effortless, taking the form of whatever I wished, but also embracing the fact that I need not permanently stick to any state, embracing change. Such characteristics are also visible in the character of Uncle Iroh in Avatar after he embraces such mentalities. The track on the album showcases me embracing, flowing to new levels of skill set and mentality, letting go of all limitations, taking shape of whatever suits the circumstance, rather than being limited in one state or shape. Water is the softest, most yielding substance, thus nothing can overpower it. Lao Tzu. The soft and yielding overcomes the rigid and hard. Not always, but in most cases, as forcing situations is never favorable. Here ends chapter 7. Chapter 8. Zuko. Fire is to be controlled, not directed. A dive into one's inner drive or inner fire, letting go of pride and embracing honor. It was very important for me to embrace the bad side of myself in order to love myself as a whole. For the longest, I only acknowledged a side of me to my own detriment. It is only once I began to embrace my entirety that I began to move as a unit or system rather than a shell of it. The track encompasses the emotion of anger and rage, accompanied with unfiltered language. I made it a point to revert back to a style that I had adopted in early tracks and projects I had created to showcase that I had no issues playing the role of a so-called bad role model if it gets the message across and captures the emotions above mentioned. The character of Zuko in Avatar, who is probably one of the show's most hated characters, had many lessons to teach the attentive viewer, never giving up and fighting for what one believes in, being a few of many. Although the character also showcased the dangers of when an individual's rage is misguided and uncontrolled, which tends to blind one's vision. Similar to the track, Zuko poses as a bad example, but to one who is open-minded, can serve as a guide to mastering one's inner fire. The delayed or slow transition Zuko makes to fully understanding himself and those around him can be attributed to his persistence to mostly employ yang concepts to his way of living. Anger should not be the overriding emotion. Here ends Chapter 8. Chapter 9. Yin and Yang. This next chapter deals with embracing the duality of life, embracing the connectivity of everything, rather than focusing on separation as most tend to. These are philosophies that help me embrace living in the present, helping me give up on previous habits of focusing either on the past or the future. The track dives into my transition into fully appreciating the moment and accepting the universe as my guide, intuitive guide. Yang consists of active elements of nature: aggression, speed, restlessness, stiffness. Yin consists of more passive elements of nature: silence and not reacting. Modern culture celebrates Yang and looks down on Yin characters. However, change is inevitable. Thus, one who fails to embrace these dualities tends to eventually break. One ought to live life in a continuous flow. I began to prioritize listening over responding as I employed more meditation. I was beginning to embrace the unknown, using it as an inspiration for new thought patterns, healthier lifestyle, feeling abundant, generating true wealth. This helped me develop the skill of defining the future for myself, setting boundaries between my mind and my body, becoming more aware of the present, and unlearning before learning. I repeat, unlearning before learning. Meditation is vital as it helped me become more familiar with removing emotional blocks, embracing uncomfortability, reconditioning my mind to any new program of my desire, and placing happiness on my own intrinsic value. This especially helped me live outside a stressful environment due to the fact that living in stress is living in survival, therefore unhealthy, which eventually causes diseases. Having control on the effects external events have on us, according to the Stoics, focusing on improving self for self. Here ends chapter 9. Chapter 10. Soccer, the warrior. Never shy away from releasing your inner warrior. The story of the Hancho, tactical genius, accepting or embracing the role of the leader. Never say die attitude. Unruly kids. The track provides an introspective analysis on the life of the character Soccer, who played the role of leader for Team Avatar in the Nickelodeon series. Moreover, providing the essence of similarity in Soccer and myself, ZV. This helped me to refuse to play the victim in order to allow the creative to thrive. Knowledge about self is self-empowerment. Growing out of anti-hero mindset, which was toxic, and embracing heroic tendencies in soul, acting in service to what you value, embracing self-realization and giving up on self-sacrificial ideologies, embracing courage and perseverance. Eventually, by employing all the above mentioned, this helped me to create, or rather to cultivate, a value system for myself, persevering to stay on its course and overcoming obstacles such as inner demons. When the world is running toward a cliff, one who runs in opposite directions seems to have lost his mind. It is important to redirect values to what can be controlled, appreciating other debates to strengthen own is a stance embraced by Soccer, as he never shied away from collaboration in order to come up with the best suitable plan. A true student. Be eager to learn and then debate it. Take no knowledge as the only knowledge. Consider the source, then do it your own way. Jim Rohn. Develop your own philosophy. Here ends chapter 10. My mind is a center of divine creation. The divine creation is always for improvement and full expression. Thus, the creation of innovation beyond any predeceased, not part of past experience, although proceeding out of past experience, by a sequence of orderly growth. Thus, since the inherent nature of the divine doesn't change, it must operate in the exact manner in me. Consequently, inside my unique world, where I am the center, the divine will move forward to produce new circumstances, always in advance of any predeceased. John Proctor.